Hello, and welcome to Happy Hour at Home. Although this setting is far different from how we usually come together each year, I want to express how glad we are to still have you joining us this evening. Your support of our organization means so much, but even more so this year. As a show of our appreciation, we still found a way to host our ever famous cocktail and appetizer reception, courtesy of the boundlessly creative Dominic and Mark with My Chef Catering out of Naperville. While I wish we could all be together right now, I know that Home DuPage and I raise our virtual glasses to you. I'll meet you back shortly after we enjoy these one-of-a-kind drink and appetizer experiences. So cheers.
Hello, my name is Ann O'Dell, Executive Director of Home DuPage. Thank you for watching our video today, which focuses on client outcomes through our work at Home DuPage. We are in such unprecedented times right now with the global pandemic that is happening all around us. Whoever thought that something could be this crippling to life as we knew it? And it makes us truly appreciate the good old days that were a short 2 months ago. And now, please take a moment to hear from one of our many clients and their success story.
My husband and I have 3 girls, and we were living in Bensonville. We had our own company. It was a business-to-business collection agency, and the business wasn't going really well. So in 2006, I decided to go back to work. And the company I worked for specialized in home foreclosures. I came home from work one day, and on the countertop were our own papers. When you're on a sinking ship, you need to somehow do something to save yourself. And I felt the only way to survive would be on my own. So the girls and I ended up leaving and rented a townhome in Roselle. We didn't have a home of our own, and I wanted to get back into the real estate market and somehow, with my small income, be able to give us a home that we could afford. Well, the first time we went in, we didn't qualify. I came home, told the girls, sorry, not yet. And we all cried. And then it was like, we picked ourselves up and I said, you know what? We're still going to be able to do this. It just means we can't do it today. When I sat down with Jo the second time, she looked at our budget and she looked at my credit report and she kind of guided us as to where I needed to be financially so that we could qualify in the future. So we followed all of her guidelines. And when we came back, my credit score was a 650, I believe, and that qualified us for the home purchase. And then we were on our way.
We realize that many people in DuPage County will need us now more than they ever dreamed possible. Some have been furloughed, some at this moment gainfully employed. Others are falling behind on mortgage payments or questioning how to budget or not sure what's going to happen to their credit. Still yet, some may be looking to purchase their first home. Let me assure you, we are here and we are ready for them. While we face this venture together, Home DuPage remains to be an organization that is vital in keeping the communities of DuPage County alive. We pride ourselves on the quality of service we are able to provide families who are in need of our services at no cost to them. Home DuPage relies on funding through foundation and government grants, memberships, fundraisers, and generous donors. This year, we've had to cancel our major annual fundraiser, and we may have to cancel our fall breakfast, which will have a financial impact on our organization. I'm inviting you to join me as our team from home continues their work in the community, family by family. Please join me in donating to our cause as we help families achieve their dream, whatever their dream may be. Please follow the link below. Thank you.
Welcome home, DuPage. My name is Matthew Andrzejewski. I'm the manager at the Clubhouse of Oak Brook. Today we are providing you the recipe for the autumn sunset, so you're able to build this at home and during your virtual happy hour. I'm going to start by pouring some Myers Dark rum into the shaker. This is 1 ounce of Myers Dark. This is 0.75 ounces of amaretto. Any amaretto will be able to be used for this cocktail. I have 0.75 of our fall simple syrup. This is batched with cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, simple syrup, sugar. I have amaretto. This is 0.75 ounces of that. And to finish it, we have 0.75 ounces of sour pucker. I'm going to shake this up. And then you're going to pour this into a highball glass, rimmed with cinnamon and sugar. Here's your cocktail. Cheers. So for everyone at home, just want to go over the recipe for the fall simple syrup. Cloves, ground cinnamon, sugar, and you're going to use hot water and steep it. You can additionally add some cinnamon sticks to kind of give it a darker color. It should have a nice golden brown color. Definitely smells like fall. Definitely delicious to add in any cocktail, specifically this one. And then if you want to sweeten it up a little bit, you can pour it right over the top of the drink.
My parents' actions influenced the bankruptcy a lot because they were utilizing my credit. And yes, the credit cards were in my name, but creating authorized users and allowing people to use your credit against your will can lead you into a lot of debt. And it was out of my control when I was forced to have to file bankruptcy in order to stay in my home. Was very stressful. And so I expressed to my case manager that I wanted a financial coach, and she recommended me to Home DuPage. And she said, before you can go, you have to go through the seminar course for budgeting. And it literally changed my life. And immediately after that, I knew I was ready to start my spending plan and get actually very serious about it. So when I first met my financial coach, Courtney, I was just so happy. Courtney motivated me, and she gave me all of the tools that I needed to be successful. And most of all, she encouraged me because I don't have anybody that encourages me with my budget. And Courtney is my biggest cheerleader each time I go to my appointment. It just makes saving just so much more rewarding when you have something that you're working towards. If I had a dream, it would be to be the best condo owner that I can be.
Welcome to My Chef Kitchen. My name is Mark Walter. I'm the executive chef and one of the co-owners here at My Chef. Today, we're going to work on a charcuterie board for you. Some things I bought at the grocery store, some things I have here in stock at My Chef, but all of it, all in all, should be able to be picked up at the grocery store. So the things I got at the grocery store was the Calabrese salami, the sofrosetta salami. I got this prosciutto wrapped. It has basil and mozzarella, and then that's been rolled with the prosciutto. I got this prosciutto d'Italia. We have from the olive bar over there, we have different types of olives that have been marinated with feta cheese. This here is our caper berries. We have dried cranberries, apricots. We have a little bit of blue cheese. This one here, this one is a thyme and rosemary marinated goat cheese. This one is a manchego, and this one is a double creme brie. So the choices that I have, I made for certain reasons. I have something spicy like the Calabrese. The sofrosetta is more of a medium to mild salami. The prosciutto has a little bit of salt with the mozzarella and the basil. Right here, the olives give you the brininess along with the caper berries. We have a little tart with the cranberry. We have a little bit of sweet with the apricot. We have the the blue cheese, that is that earthy, salty texture and flavor. The marinated goat cheese gives you the salt with earthiness of the rosemary and the thyme. Manchego is a drier cheese. It's just nice to put out there because it holds together really well. It has a nice nutty flavor to it. And also the brie just gives you that rounding, creamy flavor. So I have sliced all the salami. We have the pre-sliced prosciutto. So we're going to try to start arranging this stuff on your cutting board or whatever you would like to put on it, whether it was a tray or whether it was a wood block or wood cut out rounds. They all look really nice. Sometimes you get more than you need. So we may omit some things just to make it look nice. So let's get started. I'm going to take some prosciutto. There are a couple ways you can do the prosciutto. You can do a roll, or which sometimes looks nice. It all depends on whether it really wants to work with you. You can do a couple rolls. This one doesn't want to work with me, so I'm going to unroll it, or I'm going to start with a new piece and go and kind of curl it up on here just to make it look and give you a little height. May take another piece. Just kind of roll it, curl it, and that gives a corner piece for some height. And then take some different salamis and work your way from there. I cut these into ovals just to give everything a different shape. And what I like to do is leave gaps so that you can add some of those different, like the blue cheese crumbles or the dried fruits, or like caper berries would look good. So you've got two similar colors, like to break it up with a different color. So something like that. We have different slices, and a lot of times I will bring these down a little further so you can see all the nice rings in each of the slices. Now I'm going to work on some of the cheeses. Put the cheese up on here. And there is no wrong way of doing this. Just whatever looks good to you, more than likely is going to look good to your guest that you're having. All right. All it takes is just a little bit just to garnish the tray. I like to add some orange with apricot. All right, let's get some, got the meat, got that. Let's add a wedge of, stand it on end where it can be seen. You can lean it on something so people can see the open edge on there. I'm not going to do the blue. I'm going to add a little red. Yeah, maybe I will do some blue. Another little. So to add the last part of it is we got to add a little crunch and something to eat the salami and cheeses and everything on there. So we're going to add some water crackers. You can get an assorted mix usually at any of your grocery stores, and this will allow your guests to have some type of crunch or some type of something to put your salami and charcuterie on. And here is your charcuterie tray for a party of guests up to 7 to 10 people.
Before I came to home, our lives were in a lot of turmoil. I had lost a job and had not been able and still have not been able to find full-time, long-term employment. We're behind enough on our home payments that foreclosure was imminent. My church congregation helped us with 2.5 months worth of payments, for which we're immensely grateful. But they couldn't do that indefinitely. And we had just hit a point where we had to pick and choose what bills we could pay. What brought us to Home DuPage was that my wife found some information about the Hardest Hit program. It was an earlier iteration of the program, but there was a contact number, and I called Home DuPage and got in touch with Anna. We were able to meet within the next day or two. She was very gentle, caring, knowledgeable. She helped us manage our expectations and set realistic expectations for processing time, for outcomes. We had a lot of questions and we needed a lot of help with the application process, and she streamlined that and made it very easy for us. And we're immensely grateful to Anna and to Home DuPage. Without their help, we probably would not have received the assistance, and we would have lost our home 9 months ago.
Well, I don't know about you, but I was furiously jotting down notes during that drink and charcuterie tray tutorials. Thank you to the Clubhouse of Oak Brook and My Chef Catering for giving me ideas for whenever we can entertain in person again. I promise you will all be invited. I was also so moved by seeing how much Home DuPage has already been able to do within our communities. Please feel free to peruse our silent auction items online to see how you might be able to, I don't know, get some entertainment ideas in the future as well, or spruce up your own home while we're still in quarantine. And also see how you might be able to give back to Home DuPage and help us continue to support our communities. We will be joining you again shortly in just a few moments. Thank you. right, and so again, I'd like to thank tonight's event sponsor, brought to us by Dominic and Mark of My Chef Catering of Naperville. Your continued support and partnership is greatly appreciated. And I would also like to take this moment to continue to recognize our additional sponsors of tonight's event. We thank our gold level sponsors, Wheaton Bank and Trust, Josie Morrison of Remax, Main Street Organization of Realtors, Inland Mortgage, and Ann Odell. Our silver level sponsor, Anthology of Wheaton, and our bronze level sponsors, Cottage 24, Tina Tenaris of State Farm, Chicago Title Insurance Company, Inland Bank, and the Clubhouse of Oak Brook. I'd also like to recognize all of our board members whose commitment to Home DuPage is appreciated beyond words. And lastly, the Home DuPage staff deserves a virtual standing ovation. Without your tireless efforts, we could not make the impact that we do. I know that the work that you do is especially challenging this year. You have continued to pivot on a moment's notice and keep the client's needs at the forefront. You are truly the unsung heroes of this county. And no, actually, you're the unsung heroes of this entire state. Thank you, truly, for all that you do. You continue to be a beacon of hope to so many, and you're saving what people hold most dear, and that is their home. Home, something that we are all fortunate enough to know so well. And it's not just a place though, is it? It is a feeling, and that's a feeling of safety, a feeling of comfort, and a feeling of family. Home, somewhere you know you have waiting for you at the end of a gruelingly long day, be it a day at work, a school day, or just a bad day in general. You get to feel wrapped in its arms at the end of that day, and you can fully be yourself. For over 28 years, Home DuPage's mission has been not only to assist people in finding this safe space, maybe for the first time, but helping them keep it, helping them save it. Enter the year 2020, and the number of people in need has multiplied greatly. Our organization offers what people need most, now more than ever, to help them find and keep that home, that feeling. We are so grateful to have you here as we invite you into our homes and to share with you why we, Home DuPage, matters. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Home DuPage's Executive Director, Ann Odell.
Thank you, Vanessa. I want to thank you all for giving us the pleasure of joining us this evening for our Happy Hour at Home event. My name is Ann Odell, and I'm the Executive Director of Home DuPage, an organization that focuses their work right here in our own community. We are here this evening to let you know about the best kept secret in DuPage County, Home DuPage, a nonprofit housing counseling organization that started 29 years ago serving residents of DuPage County. Home, an acronym that encompasses all that we do: home, ownership, money, and education. Before we get started, I wanted to share with all of you why home matters and why I do the work that I do at Home DuPage. Clearly, it is the Home DuPage mission and vision, which continues to be highlighted every day through the work that is done. Together, our small but mighty team commits to our mission of providing a full range of services to promote sustainable, responsible home ownership, with an emphasis on serving first-time home buyers, low and moderate income households, and homeowners in crisis. Coupled with our vision statement of being a leader and a resource to educate and empower individuals to be successful homeowners through the years of innovative programming and partnerships, and now more than ever. It's an honor to work with a team that genuinely cares about the clients they serve and the community that we all live. All of this truly makes this work meaningful. Winston Churchill once said, "Don't let a crisis go to waste." Unfortunately, at the end of March this year, we began a crisis which continues today. Together, our staff changed our thinking on how we do business quickly. In fact, this has given a supercharge to Home DuPage staff as we worked diligently creating our new norm of how business as usual will be. Many of our clients and those of our 25 partner agencies in DuPage County have needed us and will continue to need us now more than ever. Let me assure you, we are here and we are ready. Whether clients have been furloughed from their employer, are gainfully employed, falling behind on mortgage payments, need to learn how to budget in a crisis, protect credit from taking a hit, facing eviction or foreclosure, looking to purchase a home, we are here to help. Over the last several months, our new norm of business has included not only virtual workshops, however, counseling and financial coaching appointments as well. Our team has also been creative in implementing other forms of communication for those who are not able to do virtual in order to keep them engaged during these very trying times. Home DuPage team members have embraced the new business as usual in order to bring our clients and those of our 25 partner agencies the quality of service that we have always had. I would ask that if you yourself are in need of our services, or you might know someone who is, please send them our way. Home DuPage has been in business since 1992. We're the only HUD-approved housing counseling agency in DuPage County, offering an array of different services. Our pre-purchase program is for our first-time home buyers in DuPage County to really understand the home buying process, match clients up with down payment assistance that might be available to them. Did you know that DuPage County does have a $14,999 DuPage County assistance available? Our housing counselors are happy to work with new homeowners in order to find the product that is best for them and their purchase. We also have Preserving Homeownership program. Foreclosure, it's real, it's in DuPage County. Normally, there is an average of 115 cases filed each month. However, once the moratorium is lifted, we are expecting this to increase threefold. Home has a unique program, Counselor in the Court. Normally, Home DuPage sits in foreclosure court 4 to 5 days per week, meeting those facing foreclosure right there in the courtroom. Right now, with proceedings being virtual, the judge of court is referring these clients to Home DuPage. Another service we have is reverse mortgage counseling for seniors, assisting them in determining if a reverse mortgage is really right for them. Financial literacy services, this is the common thread that ties all of our programs together. It's an essential piece in all services that we do. Also, we partner with 25 nonprofits throughout DuPage County. Our financial literacy coaches are delivering our services to those nonprofit clients, all while meeting with our own clients. All Home DuPage staff are HUD certified and trained and certified in their program area. I want to mention that our services are of minimal or no charge to our clients. Home DuPage relies on federal, countywide, and foundation grants, donors in the community, the fundraisers such as this one to provide our services. As we continue on this venture, Home DuPage remains to be an organization that is vital in keeping the communities of DuPage County alive. Today, I am inviting you to join me as our team from home continues their work in the community, family by family. Our team is dedicated to meeting clients where they are at, whether they are families or seniors striving to keep their home, worried about budgeting or credit during these times, or ready to purchase a home. Please join me in donating to our cause as our team helps families achieve their dream, whatever their dream may be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anne, for highlighting why home matters, not only to you, but to so many within our county. And now I'm thrilled to introduce one of our very own superheroes and staff members, Jill Kimack.
Hey, Jill, I'm sorry. Could you unmute, please?
Hi, thank you, Vanessa. I really appreciate this opportunity to spend some time with you this evening and tell you a little bit about our financial fitness program at Home DuPage. Education and coaching are at the core of our program. We collaborate with partner agencies and other organizations, such as libraries within our community, and we facilitate workshops on financial capability topics, such as creating a budget or understanding your credit report or bank on it, and a variety of other topics. One-on-one financial coaching provides the greatest influence on an individual's path towards achieving financial stability. Now, we take on a client-centered approach to coaching, and this allows clients to determine what their goals are and the steps to take in order to achieve those goals. And when someone has a focus and they're working on something that's important to them, that's incredibly empowering. That is when the real meaningful movement forward happens, when clients are engaged, they have ownership, feel valued and respected. Evidence suggests that autonomy in determining your goals, regardless of what your goals are, contribute to sustained motivation, working towards achieving that goal. Now, when the pandemic first hit us, and the way we delivered services changed overnight. And my concern as a coach was, would I have the same ability to make connections and build trust on a virtual platform? Because when clients come to us, they're feeling very vulnerable. Typically, they're undergoing some distress and may feel some shame towards their situation. And it's critical that they feel that they have trust in working with a financial coach to open up about their situation. And what I found is that clients really appreciated this opportunity for added support, and they looked forward to our meetings. This allowed them to work on future focused steps forward towards financial stability at a time where things were so unstable. And I have to tell you, these individuals accomplished a lot of really good things. For example, with the stimulus check, individuals opened up a savings account for the first time and deposited their stimulus check as an emergency fund. Other clients used their stimulus check to pay down toxic debt that was holding them back and keeping their credit score low. And then other clients put their stimulus check towards down payment on their first house. Wow, these are incredible things happening during this uncertain time. And people really appreciated being able to take steps forward where they have control while they're in an uncontrollable situation such as this pandemic. Now, I'd like to share a story with you regarding a client, and I'm going to refer to her as Hazel. And Hazel was a mother of two. And in June, Hazel was a victim of a hit and run accident that left her hospitalized for 2 weeks. She had to undergo 2 surgeries and face 12 weeks of rehab. Now, Hazel was receiving short-term disability at 60% of what she typically would be paid. And this left her financially stressed. The other factor complicating the situation is that Hazel's car was totaled in this accident and she only had liability insurance. So when I first met with Hazel, she was feeling quite hopeless about her situation. And the thought of even reviewing her credit report brought her to tears. And I asked her one simple question. Do you think that reaching out to someone and asking for help is a sign of weakness? Absolutely not. It is an incredible sign of strength to take your future and take control over it. Now, I laugh when I think about where Hazel started and where she is today. So Hazel hit the ground running, paid off toxic debt, opened credit building accounts, and actually even started saving towards a down payment on her first home, which she set a target date for 2 years. So from going from a situation where she felt hopeless to a situation where she felt hopeful was amazing. And as a financial fitness coach, it was humbling and inspiring to be part of that journey. And that's why I'm here at Home DuPage. Now, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you to a person that has her own inspiring story to share with you. Mirciela Gomez Canbe. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Hello, my name is Maricela Gomez Cambi, and I have the experience or the happiness or joy of being helped by Home DuPage full circle. When I got divorced, it left me with a big financial gap because of a divorce, credit card debt, everything that has to entail with the divorce. And I remember trying to figure out and how I could help myself to make my situation better. And I wanted to give honor to my dad in the sense that he told me when he came to this country that you have two things, your word and your credit. Never lose those two things. So I set out and tried to help myself to better my situation. And how I came across Home DuPage was by a simple email that was dropped in my junk mail, something that I probably would have never noticed or looked at. But it said something about the hardest hit. And I remember opening up the email and reading about it, and I was like, wow, I could do this. I could do this. I can honestly do this. So I set out and I started to fill out the application, and I was all excited. I was at a girlfriend's house, and at that time, my girlfriend discouraged me from finishing it because she's like, listen, this is not you. You are not a person that does not pay her bills. You pay, you might not eat, but you pay your bills. So I stopped the application process. The next day, I received a call on a number I didn't recognize. And most of us, when we see numbers like that, we don't pick up, but something told me, pick up that call. So I picked up the call, and on the other line was Miss Diane. And Miss Diane said to me, hey, why didn't you finish filling out the application? And I'm like, what? Who are you and where are you calling from? And she's like, hi, I'm calling from Home DuPage. You know, you started to fill out an application for the program called The Hardest Hit. Why didn't you finish filling out the application? Now, mind you, I didn't finish filling out the application, but how did she know who I was? Like, I'm looking around for a camera, you know, where's the joke? You know, and she's like, I go, are you serious? How do you know who I am? And she's like, because you filled out half of the application. It was forwarded to the agency, and I'm calling to ask you, why didn't you fill out the application? And I said to her, hey, I was told I wouldn't qualify. I wouldn't qualify because I pay things on time. So she said to me, no, it's for the hardest hit people who have gotten hit hard, regardless of job or income. If you qualify, you will be helped. And she said to me, how did you lose half of your income, or how did you lose your income? And I said, I got divorced. She goes, well, then you qualify. So we set out to fill out the application. It started in April. I made it in right before the program ended, and we fill out the application, and it's about a 5 months process, and I'm all excited about it. And she calls me the second week of August, and she's like, you know what? You qualify. And I was like, are you serious? Like, I was so touched and so happy. She goes, yes, you qualify. We're going to be able to help you. And I was like, oh my God. So, you know, at that point in time, I start making plans. Okay, the mortgage is going to be paid. My house is saved. How can I get out of debt? And luck would have it, 2 weeks later, I get in a horrifying car accident that left me in the hospital for 1 week, and in Shirley Ryan rehab for another 3 weeks. I had to learn how to walk, how to manage a leg that had a titanium bone. And all that time, the only thing that gave me comfort was that my home was saved because of Home DuPage and what they did for me, because they helped me get my mortgage paid right before this tragic accident. And that's the only thing that gave me peace while I was in the hospital. And when I came out of the hospital, I was in a wheelchair for about 10 months. They said I was going to be in a wheelchair over a year, and they said that I would need another surgery. And I was determined that neither of those two things were going to happen. Besides that, I was determined to get back to work and get back to walking. And my girlfriend took me to one of the agencies called Loaves and Fishes, which is a partner agency of Home DuPage, to go get food, to go get help. I remember sitting there looking and being sad, because I remember as a child being in a food line asking for food for my family. I'm sorry. And as I sat there listening to these people trying to help me, I could not help but the tears come down my face. And I was so sad. I felt so broken. And they helped me. And they said, it's going to be okay. And I found out about this car program that they have to help people get cars. And that's where the full circle with Home DuPage happened. I had to take these classes once I qualified, because I am an interpreter with early intervention, and the coordinator wrote a letter and said why I was worthy of having a car. Therapists wrote letters why I was worthy to get a car, and that got me into the program. And I was told by Home DuPage that I had to take these classes, and I was told by Fishes and Loaves that I had to take these classes. So I remember coming into the classes with the open mind, and there sat Jill, and there sat Anne of Home DuPage, and that's how it became a full circle with Home DuPage. They were willing to work with us, to tell us about our credit history, how to budget, how to do everything we needed to do to hit the floor running, and to go in a positive, correct way. They never saw us as broken persons. They never saw us as people who wanted to live off a system. One day you're up here and you have everything, and you never know what's going to happen in your life to bring you to that place where you need help. And because of this agency, and because of donors like the people who donate and help, I wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't be living in my house. I wouldn't have a car. I wouldn't have the things that I have, just because this agency exists, and these people who are willing to help you and to treat you with respect, and to say, hey, listen, you're worthy. You're worthy. And I wanted to soak everything in, because I wanted to learn as much as I could learn from Home DuPage, so that I could go out there and tell other people about Home DuPage, about how they help me, about how they have programs to help many people across different budgeting, different crises, different areas of growth. And so I sat there and I soaked everything up. And I was actually sad when the classes ended, because I wanted to learn more and more and more, because I hope to one day be able to stand up and give back to this great agency who helped me get back on my feet, who saw me as a human being, who didn't see me as somebody that was broken. And I just hope that the sponsors continue to sponsor this agency, so that it could keep helping many people like myself. Thank you.
Maricela, thank you. Thank you so very much for sharing your story. And thank you for placing your trust in Home DuPage to support you along that incredibly inspiring journey. That was incredibly powerful to hear. I'm so pleased to hear that partnerships across organizations, such as those between such as the one between Home DuPage and Loaves and Fishes, continue to support those across our communities and make people feel whole and as if they are home. Thank you truly for sharing that. That was incredibly moving and truly powerful. At this time, I'd like to introduce our board member, Ryan Horvath, to share why home matters to him.
Whew. Maricela, thank you so much for what you said. I mean, that's part of why home matters to me. I think before I get into all the details, I'd like to share a little history and a little story about myself and what brought me to Home DuPage. So I am the youngest of 4 sons in my family, and my mother and father moved from Cook County in Chicago, Midway Airport area, Garfield Ridge to be exact, to DuPage County. They decided to do this when they had 3 young boys. And my dad was a union carpenter after he got out of the military and wanted to put himself into a better position. He wanted to get out to DuPage County because he felt there was so much more opportunity for him, my mom, and his family. So he was able to acquire a piece of land and build a house by the time he was 25 years old. So I wasn't born yet. My brothers always give me grief for that because I'm not a Chicago-born kid, even though I was born in the Chicago hospital, by the way. But at any rate, my parents moved out to DuPage County, built a home. And it was the stories that I heard about that process as I grew up that helped and created and stoked this fire, this passion for real estate and homes at a very early age. I heard the stories of the hardships that they went through and why they wanted a home and what they had to go through to get that. And moving from the city to the suburbs and building a home, and how they stayed with my great grandfather at that time with 3 little boys in a very small house. And my dad worked extremely hard all day and usually into the evening, only to come home to try to build this house himself. And my mom always told these stories about how she would be worried because he wouldn't be at dinner. And she would walk to go check on him at the construction site. And many, many times she found my father asleep in the corner. He just couldn't do it. He worked so hard, he fell asleep. So that story to me when I grew up was so impactful. It was so powerful. My parents wanted a home to raise their family in for everything that we've heard today, right? For what Vanessa referred to, the safety the home can afford and provide, the comfort level, a place to call your own, a place to build memories. So at a young age, I obviously grew up in this home, and my parents always had the doors open for everyone. Everyone was welcome at our house. I remember there was a big wooden table with long wooden benches, and everybody would pack in there. Whatever kind of home cooked meal, the house would smell amazing. And it was a regular thing that people would just kind of knock on the door or ring the doorbell, and it was a guest and they were welcome to come in. And those are the memories that I never forgot. They instilled in me that passion that I have today. My father had a different plan for me. He wanted me to go to college. He wanted me to succeed and help him with his own business because he had his struggles, as a union carpenter. And being laid off in the holidays, he remembers going to get food stamps for the children. And he wanted to go out on a limb, right? Which he did. He started his own company and worked really, really hard to try to achieve those goals. So I was fortunate being the youngest of 4, where I kind of grew up and got to see a lot of that positivity, a lot of those accomplishments. That small ranch house to us wasn't a small ranch house in DuPage County. It was our house. It was a place that my family met and guests came and strangers were welcome, and a place we built memories and had an amazing amount of comfort. That's where the passion started for me. So as a young man, I worked extremely hard to try to do the same thing. I wanted it. I wanted it because of the comfort it can provide, as well as the financial benefits that a home can afford, paying it off. And I worked really, really hard through my 20s, and I purchased my first home in 2008, shortly after the financial crisis really began. I didn't know how deep it would go. I was in the real estate industry because, again, it was a passion of mine from a young age. And I saved, worked hard, and I bought my first place. Everything was going really well. The economy, not so much, but I was doing okay. I was able to pay my bills. Unfortunately, though, a lot of my clientele were self-employed. And during this time, they had a really difficult time, actually impossible to do any types of refinances. Their businesses were losing income, and a lot of the phone calls that I was handling on a daily basis were very emotional. And it was people going through some incredibly hard times and people losing what they worked so hard to build. It became quite taxing. I still continued to work and obviously answer the phone and do everything that I could until, it hit me. It hit me on a personal level. I had lost a business in late 2009. I went into foreclosure on the very first home that I worked so hard to get. And the feelings and the emotions that were involved were tremendous. You've heard those. We saw them with the testimonials from Cindy and Angela and Michael, and we certainly felt that with Maricela. And I can tell you that I was there. Despite being in the industry, I had no idea where to go to, and I don't know how comfortable I was even reaching out to anyone. It was extremely uncomfortable. There were a lot of negative emotions. It was a hard place to go. I used credit cards to try to maintain the business that I had and maintain my home. I got up to about $25,000 in debt, which was a mountain of debt for anyone, really, and certainly me in my position. And I didn't know where to go. I tried to navigate the lenders to do back then what was called a home modification. And the home loan modification, it seemed impossible. It seemed like they didn't want me to do that. Despite being in the industry and having some knowledge of what was going on, I still felt hopeless. And I talked to family and friends that were going through the same thing. And they gave up, and many of them lost their homes. I was determined to try to keep mine. And it took me 14 months to get my home modification, 14 months. I didn't really reach out to anyone around me because I didn't really want them to know what happened. We've heard that as well, like growing your credit, right? Your credit is key. It's so important in what we do. And there's a pride factor to it. And I didn't know where to go. And there are so many people that have that very same thing. And when Ann said that in DuPage County, those foreclosure cases are potentially going to go up threefold here when we open up the moratorium and they start going back into the foreclosure courts. There's going to be a lot of people out there that need assistance. There's going to be a lot of people like Cindy, Angela, Michael, Maricela, myself, that just need a place that they can go, a place called home. Home DuPage, to me, last October, when I got invited to the breakfast event, became that. When I heard testimonials that I just heard this evening, and I heard them last year live and on video, it blew me away. I knew that I had to give back in whatever way that I could. And I think it was about a year ago that I showed up to the Home DuPage office dressed as Captain Hook, of all things, with a wig, and delivered a check from my company. Because if I could do anything, I wanted to do something. And I was able to do to donate financially to help support this cause. And that's what happened, dressed as Captain Hook. So Ann reached out to me a little while later and asked me to be on the board. That's where I am today. That was a long-winded story, I think, of what home matters. But everything that we've heard today is that's what it's about, right? It's about the support, the comfort, the guidance, the non-judgmental approach that somebody like Home DuPage, an organization like that, can bring to anyone, whether it's somebody who just wants to save for something special. I love what Angela said. Saving is so much more enjoyable when you have something that you care about and that you want. And that's what it's all about. And when you're going through hardships, having somebody that doesn't judge you and is there to listen to you and understands and has that trust and that support and provides that comfort is invaluable. And that's what Home DuPage means to me. That's why it matters. And I want to thank each and every one of you that tuned in this afternoon to our event. It's been a challenging year, as Vanessa said. A couple of our main events that Home DuPage has each year, we weren't able to have. So you'll notice a donate now button on your screen. And I encourage you, if you feel compelled and you have the ability to do so, there is not too small of amount, if you will, to help people who need it. I highly encourage you to do that. The donations, they're going to be open and the link is going to be active to the end of the day on Thursday. So please, just by attending and hearing these stories and seeing what Home DuPage and how they've helped others is a lot. We thank you for that. We encourage you to share this story with your sphere, your people in your network, whether it's on your social media, and just keep it on your mind, right? If you sense that somebody may have that, Home DuPage is definitely a place they need to go. It's a place that they need. It's a support. It's an organization that can help when recovery seems impossible, really. So please check out that donate button. Remember, it goes through Thursday. I want to say some special thanks right now because as we've been on this event, we've had some wonderful donors to help support the cause and help this organization continue to do what they do. So we have Lorraine E., Otto E., I'm kind of using the last name here. Thank you so much for your incredible, generous donations. Maria, greatly appreciate it. It's amazing what you've done. Barb, David R., Donna, I'm not doing the last names, all of you guys. There's a few more that I can add in there. Thank you so much. You've heard what Home does and why it matters to us and what, more importantly, it's done for people like Maricela, Cindy, Angela, Michael, and the list goes on. So thank you again. Please share this information and reach out to us if you need it or anyone you know needs it. Cheers.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Ryan. And thank you, Anne, Jill, and thank you, Maricela. And thank you to all that have taken the time to share their stories with us this evening. And thank you to all that have spent your Tuesday evening with us. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your support. And we hope that you appreciate our hospitality, both this evening, in the past, and in the future. Know that it will continue. If you know someone in need, please reach out. If you would like to get involved, please do the same. So as we've all said, cheers. And then I say, stay safe and be well, and know that you can always find home in Home DuPage. Be well.